Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. The Terminator Dark Fate trailer just dropped, and I gotta admit, I didn't hate it. There's a lot I like about it. It looks a lot more impressive and a lot less silly than the likes of, say, Terminator 3 or Terminator Salvation or Terminator Genesis, all of which this movie ignores. It takes place 27 years after the events of Terminator 2, and Skynet has a new target, Daniel Reyes, and sent to protect her seems to be a hybrid Terminator like Marcus Wright from Salvation or Dudley from the Dark Horse Terminator comics, and her name is Grace. The trailer starts off with a very kind of moody rendition of Bjork's Hunter, with our heroes being pursued by a new Terminator in a kind of construction dump truck down a motorway. Grace hops into the back of the truck and throws a wire barb, and the Terminator seems to, the new villainous Terminator seems to be able to split into two units, both a liquid metal and an endoskeleton version. And we do see that there is some kind of similarities between the likes of the T-1000 and the TX, which had both a liquid metal and standard endoskeleton. So it cuts to another section where the truck crashes and Daniel Reyes and Mackenzie Davis's character Grace are cornered. It looks like they're about to be killed, and then Sarah Connor shows up with either a Ranger or an AA kind of automatic shotgun and blows the shit out of the Terminator. It doesn't seem to be too phased until Sarah kind of brings a bazooka into play, and that seems to bring it down. The trailer has images and flashes of Sarah talking to Grace, saying, "I've never seen a Terminator like you before." To which Grace says, "I'm not a Terminator, I'm human." So I'm wondering, is she aware that she's a machine, or has she been reprogrammed by Skynet? It is going to be interesting. I am thinking that there is going to be similar kind of elements that Marcus Wright's character had in Grace's character. Grace asks why Sarah is so interested in protecting Daniel, and Sarah essentially explains to her, she was me, I was in the same position. So I'm wondering, due to the events of Terminator 2, has Skynet been defeated by the Connors? Has it altered the timeline to such a way that Skynet is still going to attack, but it now has a new target? So that is interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how that works. I'm really hoping there isn't going to be some kind of like timey-wimey bollocks going on, but hopefully it'll just say that the timeline has been changed by the events of Terminator 2, and there isn't some convoluted kind of alternate timeline that's been made due to time travel. Hopefully not. Arnie shows up briefly. I think that character is going to be the ace up the sleeve for the marketing team. I don't think we're going to see much of him in the trailers until very close to the film. In the IMDb, he's still called the Terminator, but in set photos we see him drinking a beer, and we also see him like interacting with dogs, something that Terminators, they don't get on with dogs, and dogs don't like them. So I'm wondering, are they also kind of keeping their cards close to their chest about his character, and we find out he's a scientist or an engineer or the creator of the classic T-800. Hopefully he won't be Sergeant Candy from Terminator 3. The trailer is also very topical in the fact it seems to be dealing with the current immigration issue with the Mexican border. We have two scenes that kind of really emphasize that. One, the new villainous Terminator seems to be causing all kinds of mayhem and death in an internment camp in the trailer. And later on, we see both Sarah, Grace, and Daniel kind of scaling a bunch of mountains to get into Mexico. And the trailer finishes up with what I'm fairly sure is the border wall. The trailer might be set in a bit in the future where Trump has made some kind of fucking wall to keep the Mexican immigrants out. And there might be a kind of ironic scenario in that the Sarah Grace and Daniel have to actually get to Mexico to escape the Terminator. It is going to be interesting to see how they implement that kind of topical issue into a Terminator story. There's another couple of cool scenes I did like. The scene with the two planes colliding looked pretty cool. I do think that some of the fight scenes look very CG heavy. There's a bit where Grace jumps into the back of the pickup truck and throws the rebar kind of post at the Terminator in the dump truck, where she flips. You just could have had her climb into the back of the truck. You didn't have to have her do this mad kind of jump, but maybe they're trying to illustrate that she's a lot more faster and a lot more proficient than a standard Terminator. There's also a fight in a factory that it looks a bit kind of CG heavy, but it should be interesting. I'm going to be very interested to see what they do with Mackenzie Davis's character Grace and how she turns out to be a Terminator. Is she like Marcus Wright from Terminator Salvation? Is she a dead resistance soldier who's been reconstructed as a Terminator? I don't know. Again, I don't hate this trailer, but I'm going to be immensely cautious because the prior Terminator movies have been a bit of a letdown in the past. Have you seen this trailer? What did you think? And are you looking forward to it, or are you very trepidatious about it? Leave your comments below, and yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.